Hi, friends. I wanted to come on today. Initially, I was planning on talking about my hesitation in wanting to ask someone for a liver. But I got some really good questions privately over the weekend that I thought was important to address before we move on to that, just to kind of lay the foundation so everybody kind of understands more of what is going on. So, a couple of the questions that I got was, how was the polycystic liver disease diagnosed? If all my stuff was coming back normal, which was a great question because it does sound really confusing when you don't know the whole backstory. So very quickly, when I was in my early 20s, well, technically in high school, I was having a bunch of heart problems, and it was the normal, oh, it's caffeine, it's anxiety, it's chocolate, chocolate, whatever. I wasn't really taken seriously because I was so young, and it wasn't until I got a job with health insurance and I started going to some different doctors, and they hooked me up to a Holter monitor, and they realized that I was having SVT pretty bad, and that was the cause, not chocolate or stress or anxiety. Anyway, how many times have we heard that, right? So they sent me to a specialist, and he ordered an echo, and during the echo the lady was moving the thing around, and I was like, whoa, what is that? It looked like a bunch of grapes all over the screen. So she had initially told me, like, when you're done with this, you can put your shirt back on and you can leave, and the doctor will call you with the results. And then when we were done, she said, why don't you go ahead and get dressed and have a seat in the waiting room, the doctor will call you back. So I knew something was wrong then. And that's when he told me, like, you have tumors or cysts all over your kidneys, you're going to need a renal ultrasound. I didn't even know what any of these words were at the time. Like, I was like 21 years old. So they sent me for the ultrasound, and that is when I found out that I had polycystic kidney disease and polycystic liver disease. So I found out at the same time in my early 20s. And then I had my catheter ablation for the SVT. So that is actually how I was diagnosed. So I have known for more than half of my life that I've had both polycystic kidney and liver disease. But it wasn't until my early 30s, which one was first? The right kidney was first. That one grew a lobe up behind my liver and was pressing on my diaphragm and was making it really hard to breathe. So that kidney came out pretty quickly within a couple of days. 4th of July weekend, I think I went in like on a Friday, and then on like Tuesday or something like that, we ended up doing the surgery. That was like ER to nephrology to surgeon to scheduling. It was all very rapid. So anyway, we thought my kidney would last the remaining one, even though it was diseased. My creatinine was perfect. We thought it would last like another 30 years or something. And turns out 3 months later, so that was in July 6th was when my first kidney came out. And then October 14 of the same year, so 3 months later, the second kidney came out. That one had like taken over, had all this space now, and had a party in there and took over everything and kind of moved my stomach from the left half to the right half of my body. And palliative care showed me on the scan my stomach was like the size of a walnut by the time we did the surgery to take the second kidney out and put me right into renal failure. So I had 0.66 creatinine, and then went immediately into renal failure and started hemodialysis the next day. And then when that incision healed up enough, then I did the peritoneal dialysis catheter surgery, put that in. Then when that healed, I went through training and I learned how to do peritoneal dialysis at home, which is like a machine you have at home, and you use these big, basically sugar solution, puts the fluid in, it draws, it puts the solution in to your peritoneal cavity, pulls the excess fluid, and then it drains it. And it does that all through the night. My sessions were 10 hours every night with one manual exchange during the day. And I did that until I got my kidney from my baby sister on, she will always be my baby. She obviously was not a baby when she donated, but she will always be my baby sister. So anyway, I got that, we did the transplant on January 10, 2012. So it was almost 2 years that I did dialysis. So we knew the whole time I had polycystic liver, but like I said in my other video, it's pretty uncommon for you to need any intervention with polycystic liver disease. So we really didn't think, anything would ever come of it until I started having familiar and similar problems to when the kidneys were causing a problem. But that, again, even though we know it took a couple of years to get to this point for them to kind of realize and acknowledge, like, oh yeah, your liver is big, but it's big enough to the point where it's causing these problems, because doctors know about polycystic liver disease, but it's not common to have these problems. So that was how I was diagnosed. And the other question was about like draining or something, if there was a way that we could do something like not so drastic, like not suffer for the rest of your life and not do a transplant. Is there something in between? And there is a middle ground. It's called fenestration or draining and lancing and all that kind of stuff. But the hepatologist said that is not an option for me because of the size of my liver, and there's like too many cysts and they're too big. So normally they like to target like 1, 2, 3 cysts, like, oh, we can see this cyst on your scan and it's pushed on your stomach, and we can go in and drain that and get you some temporary relief, and it'll hold you over for, I don't know, however long, and then you may need to do it again. But that is not an option for me because there's just too many and too big, and we can't really target like, oh, this particular 1, 2, or 3 are causing all your problems. So that is why my options are do nothing or begin the living donor process while she monitors me every year to make sure that it's not like affecting my liver function. And if that happens, then she can get me on the list for cadaver liver. But with my liver functioning perfectly fine, just like my kidneys were, I will never get a MELD score high enough to get a cadaver liver. So those are my options. That is where we're at. This video is longer than I like them to be. I try to keep them under 5 minutes. So I'm going to end for today, and then my next video, I will plan to talk about the hesitation and why I'm not like jumping at this. So that's all. I hope everybody is having a good day. It is a Monday, so happy Monday. Thanks, guys. Bye.